Welcome all of you. I am Dr. Sharat Kumar Mallikarjun Nimbale, Assistant Professor at Department of Statistics, Yeshwantrao Chavan Institute of Science, Satara. Today we are going to discuss one of the important paper called Design of Experiments. The design of experiment has wide applicability in research areas. So in today's presentation we are going to cover these points, that is we start with introduction to experimental unit, concept of treatment, and then layout of experiment. Then we will discuss one of the important concept in design of experiment, that is principle of design of experiment, namely replication, randomization and local control. After that we will see efficiency of design, and at the end we will discuss the concept of completely randomized design. So let us start with introduction. The design of experiment first proposed by Fisher in 1920 for solving the agricultural problem. However, because of its large applicability, the design of experiment start implementing in industry, military problem, and nowadays in almost every department of science it is used to solve research problems. Now next, as we know, most of progress in science comes from performing the experiment. Even we develop our knowledge or experience by conducting the experiments. The most of the researcher used to conduct the experiment to answer some question. Typical questions may be how much dose or quantity of fertilizer is efficient for plant growth, or the experiment may be particular drug is safe or efficient for particular disease. Such questions can be answered by conducting the experiment. Now you will see, in case of fertilizer experiment, even a fertilizer is available, how much dose is efficient to plant growth is need to be detected or need to be answered. Such type of questions can be answered using design of experiment. Even we can consider another example. Nowadays a world facing the problem of COVID-19, but question is that which drug is more efficient to control the COVID-19. Such questions can be answered by conducting the experiment scientifically, which is known as design of experiment. So let us see what is the definition of design of experiment. Design of experiment means systematic planning of an experiment in a such a way that observation or measurement should be obtained to answer the research problem in a valid and efficient and economical way. If experiment is not well defined, then valid conclusion is not drawn from that experiment. So simply design of experiment is a systematic planning of any research process. Now let us see the next concept, that is layout of an experiment. Layout of an experiment is simply steps involved in conducting the experiment. To understand the layout of an experiment, let us consider one example or a case study. Suppose we want to test which drug is more efficient to control the diabetics. To do so, we use a following steps. Now first step is recognition or identifying the research problem. Now this step we are clearly define what is our objective of an experiment or which question should be going to answer using the experiment. Now for our example, here the problem or objective of an experiment is to compare drugs A and B so that we can conclude about which drug is more efficient. So this is our objective, that is step 1. Now in step 2 we are going to select a proper response variable. Now response variable in the sense the variable on which we are going to take the measurement or we are going to make some observations. In our case, the experiment response variable is a sugar level of patients, as we are dealing with diabetic patient. Now step 3 is selection of factor or sources of variation. As discussed earlier, the experiment is affected by various factors, namely a controllable factor and uncontrollable factor. So main responsibility of any experimenter or investigator is to identify the sources of variation, so that proper planning should be made to control the sources of variation. As in our case, we are going to deal with diabetic patient. The patient's characteristics like the blood pressure, age, stress level, diet, environmental conditions are the factor which affects on the experiment or the response variable. So such type of sources of variation are identified in a experiment. Now let us see step 4. Now step 4 is selection of sample size and proper experiment or experimental design. Now proper sample size, that means how much patient we are going to enroll, so that we can draw a valid conclusion about the experiment. So such type of questions should be answered in step 4. And which type of experimental design we are going to prefer? The choice of experimental design depends on the nature of experiment. So in our case, sample size is calculated on the basis of patient availability or the cost per patient, okay, and we can select a randomized or non-randomized method to conduct our experiment. Now next, step 5 is statistical analysis of data. To arrive at valid conclusion, a data recorded must be analyzed with proper statistical tools, and records are presented using table and graph, so anyone can understand inside story of our experiment or a research. Now final step, that is step 6, final conclusion and recommendation. Now depending on the statistical analysis, conclusion is drawn about the hypothesis and the further recommendation are made. So these are the some steps which we have to consider while doing some experiment. Now let us discuss the process of DOE. In practice, a researcher used to observe something. On the basis of their observation, questions are arised. Those questions are converted into hypotheses. To test such hypotheses, one should conduct an experiment, or one should define a scientific experiment. Using the experiment, they can collect some observation or they can take some measurement. After systematic analysis of such measurement using some statistical analysis, they conclude about their hypothesis. So this is the process of design of experiment. Now let us consider an example. Nowadays again we will consider the example of COVID-19. Most of the researcher observed that existing drug can be used for preventing the COVID-19. So they set the hypothesis that some particular treatment or drug can be used to prevent the COVID-19. For that, they start conducting a clinical trial which is known as experiment. And using experiment, they collect some information, and on the basis of those information, they conclude about their hypothesis. So this process of answering some particular problem or question or hypothesis is known as process of design of experiment. Now design of experiment result in improvement of yield or outcomes. It is also helpful to reduce the variability. It is also useful to conduct experiment in a very efficient and economical way. Now, to understand design of experiment, one should know some basic terminology used in design of experiment. So let us discuss some basic terminology used in design of experiment. First is a experiment. As we all aware about the experiment in our college library, we doing some research in physics and chemistry. So all of we are aware about the experiment. But let us discuss experiment in a more statistical way. Experiment is test or series of runs in which a purposeful changes are made to the input variable of a process or system so that we may observe and identify the reason for change that may be observed in the output of response. Now this is the diagrammatical representation of experiment. Usually experiment in the sense observing the output for the given input. But in this diagram we can see that the outputs are usually affected by two factors. First one is called as controllable factor and second one is called as uncontrollable factor or noise factor. Let us discuss these two concepts with an example. Now here we having the two examples of experiment. First experiment is comparison of different fertilizer of plant growth. Now similarly a second example is testing the efficiency of two drugs for controlling particular disease. Now in first example the input is fertilizer and output is growth of plant. But as we know growth of plant is affected by many factors. Some of them are controllable and some of them are uncontrollable. Now in case of plant growth, controllable factors are amount of fertilizer, amount of water that can be controlled by experimenter. While in case of plant growth, the sudden change in environmental condition or the inner strength of that plant are the uncontrollable factor, which are the beyond the control of experimenter. Now similarly we can discuss the experiment in case of a drug example. In drug example, the drug is a input and the control of particular disease is output. But here the controllable factors are like patient diet or patient habits that can be easily controlled by investigator or a experimenter. While a sudden change in climatic condition is also affect on patient health, which is beyond the control of experimenter. Even a willpower or the inner strength or immunity power of that particular patient is beyond the control of experimenter, but it is affecting on the disease. So whenever we are conducting the experiment, okay, our outputs is affected by these two types of factors. Okay, now the basic objective of design of experiment is to control these factors as much as possible. Now even it is acceptable that these factors cannot be removed totally, but we can minimize its effect, so we will get the maximum or efficient outputs. So such is a process is called as. Now let us discuss the concept of experimental units. It is a smallest division of experimental material used for testing or experimentation. For example, in field experiment, plots or plants are the experimental units, and in clinical trial or medical experiment, patients are the experimental units. Now let us discuss a next concept, that is treatment. The factor which is administered to experimental unit in order to estimate its effect is called as treatment. For example, in field experiment, a fertilizer is a treatment, and in clinical trial different drugs are the treatment. Now in this diagram we can see a rat is a experimental unit and some particular drug is treatment. Generally a treatment is administered to experimental unit, and then some measurements are taken from experimental unit, and on the basis of those measurement a conclusion is drawn on treatment. As in our case we are comparing the two drugs, so independent t-test may be used to compare the efficiency of two drugs. After analysis we can conclude whether A is efficient or B is efficient. So on the basis of statistical analysis, we can recommend a efficient drug for controlling the diabetics. Next concept is experimental error. As we know that for any researcher, it is very difficult to control the all factor which are affecting on the response variable or outcomes. There are always certain extraneous factor which are the beyond the control of researcher. These factor which are the beyond the control of human approach is known as the experimental error. So generally the factors which are the having a strong effect on outcome but which are the beyond the control of researcher is known as the experimental error in design of experiment. For example, germination of seed, plant growth, response to feed by animals, sudden change in the climatic condition or the non-calibrated machine are the example of experimental error. But even it is acceptable that we cannot control experimental error completely, but we can use some statistical tools to control these errors, so its effect on outcome is minimum. So for such tools are proposed by Reynold Fisher, okay, for the controlling the experimental error. He proposed a principle of design of experiment in his book Design of Experiment. These principles are very important to get this statistically sound result. These principles are namely randomization, replication and blocking, or sometimes it is called as local control. This principle plays very important role in reducing the experimental error. Now next we will see a first concept, that is randomization. When all treatments have the equal chance of being allocated to experimental unit is known as randomization. That means we can assign a treatment to the different experimental unit in a completely chance, in a pure chance way. So such method is called as randomization. Now what is the main objective of randomization? It is useful to validate the statistical test of significance. As we know that the most of the statistical test having the assumption of IID, that is independently and identically distributed. So to get the IID distributed, randomization is very helpful. Now next, the purpose of randomization is to control the sources of variation, as we discussed earlier, to avoid the selection bias or expert judgment. See, this is the one of the new concept, that is the selection bias or expert judgment. So we will discuss with a example. Now let us discuss the randomization with example. Suppose a experimenter want to assign 10 patients in 2 drugs, say A and B. So there are 2 methods of assignment. The first method is we can call it as a non-randomized method. In non-randomized method, he can assign 5 patients to drug A and 5 patients to drug B. But while assigning, he can create his own judgment. That means suppose experimenter want to show drug A is more efficient. So he can assign a patient with a mild illness to drug A. And as he want to show drug A is more efficient and drug B is less efficient, so he can assign a patient with severe illness to drug B. So by doing this, he can favor a particular group or particular drug to show result more efficient. To avoid such type of assignment, a randomization method is used. In randomization method, each patient have a equal chance of getting either drug A or drug B. So in this case, a experimenter don't have any choice of assignment. He have to assign the patient to particular drug as per the randomization code. Now randomization code in the sense, using the random number table we can get the some random number, or in nowadays a randomization is done using the randomized code. Now in this case, if you see a diagram, the patient 4, 2, 6, 1 and 10 are assigned to drug B irrespective of their illness level, and the patient number 5, 8, 9, 7 and 3 are assigned to drug A irrespective of their illness level. So in this case, a experimenter cannot assign the patient to particular drug with his own judgment, and because of this we will get the more and more accurate result or more practical result as compared to non-randomized assignment. So randomized method are used to avoid a selection bias or judgment bias. So using the randomization, experimenter cannot assign or cannot define the experiment with his own judgment, or he cannot favor a particular group or treatment. So in this way randomization is working. Now there are many methods of randomization. Some random number tables are available. Generally we can find those random number table in some reference books. Nowadays a randomization code is generated with help of computer, like computer software like even Excel, SPSS. We can generate the random code as per the our requirement, and many more methods are there which are the depends on the situation or the case of our experiment. Let us discuss the concept of replication. Replication is very simple concept. Replication in the sense repetition of treatment on the different experimental units. As we know that statistics cannot be applicable on single observation. The same concept is used in replication. Here we are repeating the treatments on the different experimental unit, so that all kind of variation is included in our experimentation. So that's why we can average out the influence of chance factors or the uncontrollable factor. Because of experiment is repeated on the different experimental unit, the reliability of our experiment is more, or we can say accuracy of our experiment is more. Now we will see a concept of blocking. As we know that heterogeneity have a strong impact on experimental outcomes. So to avoid the impact of heterogeneity on experimental outcome, we can divide a heterogeneous experimental unit into homogeneous group with respect to some criteria or characteristics, like sometime age, severity of illness. So we can divide patients or the experimental unit with respect to some characteristics. So such type of grouping is called as blocking or local control. Now let us discuss all three principles with some example. Suppose I want to conduct the experiment in order to test the efficiency of two drugs, say A and B, in order to control the diabetics. So I decided to take a sample size of 20. That means in drug A 10 sample and drug B 10 sample. So first task is randomization as per the principle of design of experiment. I will perform a randomization using some simple technique. I will toss a coin. If head comes up, then I will assign patient to drug A, and if tail comes up, then I will assign patient to drug B. So in this way my patients get randomized in two groups. Now the experiment is repeated 10 times with drug A and 10 times with drug B. That means drug A is replicated 10 times and drug B is replicated 10 times. So replication is implemented in our experiment, so that we will get more reliable or more precise result, and all variation in whatever exists in patient are included in our measurements. Now as we know that age is very important to control the diabetics. Usually patient with higher age are having a low control on diabetics, or healing rate of diabetics is low in case of higher age rate. So I decided to divide this whole patient into two groups, that is patient with less than 35 years and patient with greater than 35 years. So in this way I divided my whole patient into two blocks, so that way I can control the impact of heterogeneity due to age. So here in diagram I can see that two blocks are there. First block is age above 35 years and age second block is age below 35 years. In both blocks, the experiment treatment is repeated 10 times. Both treatments are repeated 10 times. And so because of replication and randomization and blocking, we can control the unnecessary factors and we can increase the accuracy of our experiment. So this is the example where we can implement three principles of design of experiment. The next concept is efficiency of design. It is usually used to compare the various design in terms of their efficiency. In design of experiment, we have various designs like completely randomized design that we are going to discuss in our upcoming slides. Randomized block design is there, Latin square design is there, factorial design is there. So we can compare the efficiency of their such designs. Now let us see what is efficiency. As we know that the information of design is reciprocal to error variance. Suppose E is the error variance of a design, then the amount of information of a design or efficiency of a design is 1 upon E. Now we can find the relative efficiency of two designs as follows. There is two designs, say D1 and D2, whose error variance is E1 and E2 respectively. Then the efficiency of design 1, that is denoted by D1 and is given by 1 upon E1, as E1 is the efficiency of that particular design. Similarly, the design D2 and its efficiency is 1 upon E2. Then the relative efficiency of D1 with respect to D2 is denoted by E, and E is a ratio of design 2 to design 1. If the value of E is less than 1, then D2 is more efficient than D1. And if E1 is greater than 1, then we can say D1 is more efficient than D2. Now let us discuss our first design, that is completely randomized design. In shortcut, it is called as CRD. It is one of the simplest design among the all design of experiments. It is based on the principle of randomization and replication. In this design, treatments are assigned completely at random so that each experimental unit has the same chance or equal chance of receiving any one of the treatment. Generally, the CRD is performed when experimental units are homogeneous. In case of greenhouse and laboratory experimentation, the experimental units are generally found to be homogeneous. In such cases, the CRD is more applicable. CRD is again applicable when number of treatments are small. To understand the concept of CRD, let us look at the layout of CRD. To perform CRD, first we have to decide the number of experimental units and number of treatments, and then we have to assign the experimental treatment to the experimental units completely random way using some randomization technique. It may be a randomization table or some lottery method or some other suitable technique. To understand the CRD in a more appropriate way, let us consider an example. Suppose we want to compare three drugs, namely say drug A, drug B and drug C on the pain relief. Suppose we randomly assign these three pain relief drugs to 12 patients, okay, using some randomization technique, so using lottery method. Hence each drug is applied on the 4 patients randomly. Here each patient having the equal chance of getting any of 3 drugs. Therefore we call it as a completely randomized design. In this example, we observe there are 3 treatments, that is drug A, drug B and drug C. Now experimental units are 12 patients who are suffering from joint pain of almost similar age and other medical characters. Now here we can observe that in CRD only randomization and replication principle is used. The blocking or local control is absent here. So that's why the patient are of homogeneous characteristics are used. Now The randomization code is prepared using lottery method. That is, randomization for drug A is 2, 6, 9, 12. That means drug A is randomly assigned to patient 2, patient number 6, patient number 9 and patient number 12. Similarly, the randomization code for drug B is 1, 4, 7, 11. That means drug B is randomly allocated to patient number 1, patient number 4, patient number 7 and patient number 11. And next, a randomization code for drug C is 3, 5, 8, 10. That means drug C is assigned to patient number 3, patient number 5, patient number 8 and patient number 10 randomly. So such allocation is called as randomization. Now next, advantages of CRD. It is a easy layout of any design. Fixed, it allows a complete flexibility as any number of treatments and replication may be used. The number of replicates, if desired, can be varied from treatment to treatment. That means in one of the treatment we can allocate 4 patients and one of the treatment we can allocate the 3 patients. So such type of imbalance in the experimental units is allowed. Now statistical analysis is very easy, even the number of replicates are not same for all treatments. The loss of information due to missing data is small as compared to other design due to large number of degrees of freedom for error of sources of variation. Now disadvantages, it is difficult to find the homogeneous experimental units in all aspects. Hence, the CRD is rarely suitable for the field experimentation as compared to other experimental design. In CRD, the principle of local control is not used. Okay, so that's why the missing of one principle is a major disadvantages of CRD. If error degrees of freedom is very high, then analysis become very difficult. So this is a completely randomized design where simply we are allocating the treatment in a purely chance or randomly to the experimental materials.